Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be with you and wanted to share with you a little bit about the HR simulation. That's a big part of the course. Um, it makes up the reflection paper that comes at the very end of the semester. Um, Dr. Krakow has an excellent video, a recording from an office hour that he completed in which he really goes through each element of the simulation, the point and click aspect of it, to help us to understand how to navigate through the system, make decisions, and advance or not advance into the next quarter within the simulation. And so, what I wanted to do was provide one additional conceptual introduction into the simulation, to give you kind of a structural presentation to each element of the simulation. So what I'll do is I'm going to share my screen and go through a brief presentation with you. And so that'll give us an opportunity to talk a little bit about the simulation, especially if you have any questions coming up in our next office hour. All right. All right, so HRManagement's simulation is put on by Interpretive Simulations. And we'll do a brief overview of the program, the decisions that you'll make, and then results and how you monitor those on a regular basis, as well as a brief summary to recap. So within this simulation, you're going to be an HR director of a mid-sized firm, in which you are responsible for making various decisions on the organization's workforce. Those include staffing, compensation, training, different programs available to the employees, and certain special decisions that will come up on a quarter by quarter basis, such as job analysis and how to proceed with defining the positions in terms of their responsibilities. So as at the startup, you'll find the first element of this is going to be to create your team or company name. So each of you will create a company name that will be how you're identified throughout the program from that point on. With regard to staffing decisions, that's one of those key elements that we talked about. So each quarter, you want to make sure that you have the right staff, the right amount of staff to complete the work of the organization. You have to staff 5 different levels of jobs within the organization, forecast the number of positions to fill for each one of those levels, make decisions about, and then set female and minority hiring targets as well. And note that hiring costs may vary or do vary from job levels from 1 to 5 and are charged against your budget. As you increase the number of team members within the organizations and make other decisions for promotions, those will impact your overall budget, which you want to manage. That's been one of the biggest challenges. Sometimes team members or students decisions to spend too much upfront and don't realize the amount of money that they're spending, and that it's really exhausting their entire budget within the first couple of quarters, where they're not able to invest from that point on. So I would recommend you those practice sessions that we'll have for week 1, module 1. That'll help you, as well as starting slow and understanding how each one of those decisions is going to impact your overall budget within the simulation. So within and with regard to staffing considerations, your firm can hire externally from the community workforce or promote internally to fill positions. So this graphic is really meant to show all of the different ways in which we are making those decisions with regard to staffing. In addition, promoted employees create job vacancies that need to be filled. Hiring has a direct cost, but promoted employees may need more training. And that will come up a little bit later as another decision that you'll have to make. So you compete for the same workforce as other firms in your industry. And so all of this ultimately goes into our next decision of compensation. So with regard to wages, your decisions are to set wages for each of the job levels, those 5 job levels in the organization, as the amount paid per employee each quarter or as an hourly rate wage. In addition, with regard to payroll, that is calculated as wage times the number of employees for each job level. And labor cost is the basis for calculating unit cost of production. So please keep in mind, as you are navigating within the system, there is a glossary. So there are plenty of opportunities for you to click around and understand each of the terms, and perhaps they mean something different than what you are used to in your own organization, or maybe the formula or calculation that they're using for a particular metric is different, which is okay. We want you to become more well-versed in this system and understanding some of the differences that may be there between how you do your daily work in this simulation. With regard to benefits, you have different decisions to make. The firm has a basic benefits package at the startup. So when you're first entering the organization, it's considered a basic benefits package with no additional cost towards budget. So you have choices to add things like vacation, healthcare, and other benefit options, which those increases above basic benefits will affect your budget and the unit cost. And ultimately, benefit costs are calculated here as a percentage of payroll. So those are the decisions you'll have to make in terms of how fast or how much to invest in the benefits package in order to improve retention or your recruitment for external hires. With regard to compensation, those changes can affect employee morale. That's one of the results that will be part of the simulation. Wage and benefit increases can have a significant impact on your budget, though. So you want to make sure you have balances between those things. It's not just a easy button of increasing these without understanding that there's a cause and effect, and that you will exhaust a lot of your budget if you have these direct increases overall for your staff. You want to multiply wage increases by the number of employees to calculate the total cost. So the system will help you with this or show what your budget will be as you make increases, but those increases will affect your budget for not only the following quarter, or will affect it only for the following quarter, but will also have an ongoing effect on your unit labor cost. So your unit labor cost is rising as you present or provide merit increases over time. Training decisions, there are several that you can make on a quarterly basis here. Training for new hires and promotions, that's going to help them become more productive, more quicker. Managers and supervisors can benefit from management training. You can also use safety and accident training to improve safety in the workforce. Quality programs is how they're labeled here. Investing in those will help to improve both product quality as well as productivity. And you can allocate anywhere between $0 and $80,000 to each of the training programs. And note that those expenses are charged against the budget each quarter. So you can increase or decrease those on an ongoing basis. Several things to consider with regard to training. Coordinate hiring and promotions training with the staffing decision. So as you make decisions about how much to hire, how many promotions you want to make, consider also the training cost of those. So it becomes more of a integrated decision-making process that you're following, as opposed to considering staffing separate from training and other decisions that you might have to make. Training can reduce costs in the long run associated with, for example, safety and accident training. So I encourage you to, look at that and see how, if you ultimately have a certain goal in mind with regard to which results you want to see in your work as an HR director within this company, you can follow along as you're seeing what impact there is whenever I'm investing in a training program within the organization. Note that spending the maximum amount may not be the best use of funds because of diminishing returns as well. So again, it's a cause and effect and an opportunity for you to look at that over time. There's several program decisions that you can make, or selection of employee programs that you can utilize to improve HR performance. Those are fixed and charged just against a single quarter in which you make that decision. So keep that in mind as you move along. And then there will be, as I mentioned earlier, several special decisions. There will be a mini case in which you review, sort of a case study. And then you'll want to just make the best decision that you can, or best response to the incident. And some of those can impact your budget. So again, just review the whole case and make that decision as well. With regard to decision analysis, analytical tools can help you make decisions. Some are on decisions such as staff analysis. Those project staffing needs. The wage rate analysis estimates the cost of wage increases. Training analysis calculates the minimum training required for new hires and promotions. And then some tools stand on their own. So you're looking at your budget, obviously, both your current as well as forecasted impact of your decisions on the budget. So make sure to look at both of those components, and then your decision response. So it shows how your decisions and results may relate to one another. So this is a free component of the simulation. So always check this. I would recommend, after you've made decisions and you've advanced to the following quarter, check these analytics first and see, how your decisions played out, and that'll help you with making future decisions as well. So with regard to budgeting, monitor your spending by category to make efficient use of your funds. Your budget needs to cover spending for the entire year, not just a single quarter. So look here and you can see kind of your forecast as well as the year to date. As you make decisions, you'll see your annual budget and remaining annual budget will change over time as you make those decisions. Your remaining budget will decrease, and so you'll want to make those decisions over time so that you're planning for 8 quarters, 2 years of decisions made on a quarterly basis. Review reports each quarter to monitor performance. We'll go over the dashboard that provides a results overview. These are the red, green, gray tiles that you'll see. Staffing and demographics provides employee information by job level. Your compensation is your wages and benefits summary for the organization. Development will be, again, tied to training. So trends and messages for accident rate, quality, productivity. Your production will be the output of your workforce, their productivity and unit cost information. And then any employee relations issues that you'll want to look for in terms of trends for morale, grievances, and absenteeism. Brief overview of your dashboard. Track changes in performance and adjust your decisions for continual improvement by reviewing your results in the dashboard on a quarterly basis. And then there are some additional environmental reports and that you can purchase. So this is in addition to the free analytical tools that are available within the simulation. So these do cost against your budget. There's a wages survey, so you can use this to compare your employees' compensation against other firms in the industry. There's a training survey which reports industry-wide training expenditures to see how you benchmark. Production survey. This is a report to monitor productivity, quality, and unit cost of competitors. And then a performance survey provides detailed information by firm on a number of performance measures. So again, it's opportunities to see how you're doing, how your organization is doing on certain metrics compared to others in the industry, which again can help you make better decisions or more informed decisions as you go along. So to be successful, I like this. Sometimes we come into the simulation and we just start, everything is good. Spending money on these things, from compensation to training to benefits, they all sound great. And it's hard to say no to anything, really, in terms of investing or spending more money on all of these things. But you really want to start with some goals in mind. What do you want to focus on in terms of the results, the outcomes that you're looking for, and create a plan, an action plan to reach those goals. What are you going to focus on in the long term? And your decisions then tied to that plan. If I'm making decisions consistent with my plans, then the results will ultimately, hopefully, follow. And you can make adjustments to reach your goals. So hopefully, over time, you're looking at those analytical tools and the analytics that follow each one of the quarters as you make your decisions to see, are there things that I need to adjust in my plan? I really thought that I was going to improve in this one area by in training, and I'm not seeing the return on investment that I was expecting. So how am I going to change to ultimately meet my goal over the next few quarters? So that's a brief overview. I hope you find it useful. Again, I would like for you to use this video and then follow up with Dr. Krakow's video to use it as a point and click tutorial introduction into the simulation so that you see each individual component. There's a lot of different aspects to it that you'll want to just be aware of and make sure that you're not missing anything. And we're happy, and I'm happy to go over questions that you have in our virtual office hour that we'll have on a weekly basis and talk about the simulation and anything that I can help with. So I appreciate your time. I look forward to talking more with you. I hope you have a great night.